Hey there, amazing listeners. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Transform Yourself, the podcast that's all about empowering you to shed those stubborn pounds and embrace your best selves.
That's right. We're your hosts, Casey and Tyler, and we use the 4 M's of fitness: mind shift, meal shift, micro habits, and my favorite, muscle building, to create attainable and sustainable approach to weight loss. Together, we have lost a collective 130 pounds, and we've kept it off for 2 years.
And in today's episode, we're going to be on a roller coaster of fun and information. Get ready to decode the mystery of social media phrases in the health and fitness world. If you are anything like me, then your Instagram algorithm is filled with healthy recipes, nutritional advice, fitness advice. Tyler, what's your algorithm look like?
I can tell you it's definitely not that.
It's not the fitness world?
It's bro fitness.
Oh, you have bro code on your algorithm.
I mean, it's more of that. It's every toxic male trait
On your algorithm?
Yeah, it's all of that. It's all that kind of thing.
Any funny cat videos?
There is 0 cat videos.
Oh.
I'm not a cat person. I'm not really even that much of a dog person.
When you look at my Instagram page, is pretty much every single person is giving nutritional advice, or everyone that I follow gives sound nutritional advice or workout advice. It kind of all falls within the mind shift, meal shift, micro habits, and muscle building. It's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, mine is I think the exact opposite. So when you look at a guy trying to jump their truck over a ditch, like that's like more my speed.
Okay.
Like I really don't want to look at a wavy thin person going, "You gotta eat more watercress salad." Like I'm not interested.
I'm not interested in watercress salad either, though.
I know, but hey, isn't that a good segue into what we're talking about?
It is.
That is the typical Insta kind of a post when it comes to that kind of thing.
Well, we titled the episode "What in the Word?" because all the popular phrases and words used by health and fitness influencers and me can be confusing. So you've been scrolling through Instagram and you come across terms like metabolic adaptation, or somebody says something like body recomp or clean eating. So what do these really mean? Today's episode, we're going to be your own personal dictionary of fitness terms and phrases. We're going to dive into what they mean, and for some of them, what they don't mean. Let's start with the very first term. It's my favorite. Calorie deficit. Most of my listeners know that I refer to myself as the calorie deficit queen in all things social media.
Okay, so let's stop right there. I feel like we need to define what calorie maintenance is first. I feel like people get deficit better than maintenance.
True.
But basically, calorie maintenance, that's the calories you eat in a day. If you wanted to keep your weight flatline, exactly the same. So you don't want to gain weight, you don't want to lose weight, you just want to stay the exact same. That's your calorie maintenance.
Yeah, good point. So your calorie deficit is typically 300 to 500 calories under your maintenance calories. If you have a calorie maintenance of, say, 2,000 calories per day, your calorie deficit would be somewhere between 500 less, which would be 1,500, or 300 less, 1,700 calories per day. Also, good point to make, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. It follows the basic laws of thermodynamics. You have to expend more calories than you intake if you want to lose fat. Can we go ahead and define calorie surplus while we're at it?
Well, that's the fun one.
Why is calorie surplus the fun one?
Because it's the opposite. I mean, process of deduction. You've got the same and you've got less. So more calories.
I mean, I will tell you that I feel like I've been in a calorie surplus in the month of December. A lot of people are usually in a calorie surplus in the month of December. It's, all the treats, all the sweets, all the parties, all the things. It happens. It's okay.
Just getting a little loose with just watching what you eat. And it's hard. It gets really, I know I'm up a little bit this month.
So let's define, what is a calorie surplus?
So a surplus is eating more calories on a daily basis than what your body is burning through all of the metabolic things, exercise, non-activity.
Activity, thermogenesis.
All those things. You're consuming more calories than what you burn. That's really all it is.
Right.
That is all it is. It's not any more complicated.
Here's the deal. Some people purposely put themselves in a calorie surplus. If you are in the bodybuilding world, bodybuilders purposely put themselves in a calorie surplus because they want to gain muscle. And you have to be in a calorie surplus if you want to gain muscle. You will gain fat too if you're in a calorie surplus. Kind of like if you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose both fat and muscle. It is all inevitable. However, we will go further into that and how we want to maintain our muscle in a deficit through muscle building, which is the fourth M of FormFit. Let's move on to our next set of terms, bulk phase and cut phase. These are terms that are mostly used in the bodybuilding world. I'm starting to hear them a little more widely by the general fitness influencers that are not bodybuilders.
In reality, if you're trying to lose weight or trying to gain weight, like that's a version of bodybuilding. So I think to call it bodybuilder, I think maybe scares people because that's really all it is.
It's true.
It's a version of it. It's not the Muscle and Fitness magazine where you've got 400-pound monsters.
That is true.
You can do that on a scale. I mean, it's like any other sport, any other thing. You can scale it to where you are. But a bulk phase is when you're just trying to put on muscle mass, and that's done through eating in a calorie surplus, plus obviously with the correct exercise routine to help build that.
And a cut phase is when somebody's trying to lose fat, which is achieved through a calorie deficit. My personal trainer recently competed in a bodybuilding competition, and during her cut phase, she lifted lighter weights, more reps, while in a bulk phase, she lifted heavier weights for less reps. Let's move on to our next term, metabolic adaptation.
So first, let's define metabolism. We all blame a slow metabolism for weight gain, and we're all jealous of those with a fast metabolism. And the guy, the gal that can eat whatever they want and they don't gain any weight. Probably, like we've got one of our daughters is that way.
That is true.
She's in one of those phases.
But I feel like all 8-year-olds are that way.
I think
also.
that's true. That's fair to say.
Yeah, true. I mean, I also know some 40-year-olds that their metabolism is very high and it's just genetically that way. And it's genetics, people. Sometimes genetics does have a big role to play in this. However, we can't, rely completely on, genetics or blame genetics completely either.
Yeah. Because I would imagine there's a fair amount of people that listen to you and follow you that were once in that category. Because this is the same thing we saw after sports ended in high school, is everyone ate like they were burning massive amount of calories.
Because they were.
And then,
yeah.
And then football stopped and then the activity stopped, but the calories still stayed the same. So most of the guys gained weight.
Right. So, I mean,
and
the whole freshman 15 in college, right?
Same thing.
Same concept.
You're eating the same amount. You're doing less work. I would imagine a lot of the people that follow you probably had the same thing just in life where they burned calories really, really well when they were younger. And then they pop out a couple puppies. They get older.
I love it. You called it puppies. They're kids, Tyler. We didn't pop out puppies. Thank you.
Whatever. You're right. We didn't.
They're children. They're beautiful children.
Whatever you want to. But you get the point I'm trying to make. Is there's probably a lot of people who identify with that.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I didn't change anything. I don't get any weight. It's like, well, your body's changing.
Yep. And that would be your metabolism is changing. And metabolism, really, it's just the process by which your body changes your food into energy. By the way, for those of you who do not know my background, I am an ex-biology and chemistry teacher in high school. So I do have a background of science.
So you can DM her with any chemistry-related question that your kids have in school.
If you want
hashtag
Avogadro's number. Love it. Kim nerd.
I for a split second, I was like, what the hell is Avocado's number? And then I'm like, okay, you're being dumb.
Yeah. No. I said Avogadro.
I know, but
my thought
brain
avocado.
I could go for
You were thinking avocado when I said Avogadro.
I'm technically a millennial, so avocado toast is a thing for us, apparently.
I should make Avogadro toast. 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, by the way. Moving on.
Nerd.
I'm such a nerd. All right. So we were talking about metabolism. What was I saying about it? I was just telling you that it's a process by which your body changes food into energy. And during that process, your body mixes the food that you eat and the drinks that you drink with oxygen to make the energy that your body needs. Even at rest, the body needs energy for everything it does. And your metabolism or your metabolic rate is determined by so many factors. And that includes your age, gender, hormone function, the amount of physical activity, muscle to fat ratio. And you can't really do anything about your age or your gender, but what you can absolutely take control of is your metabolism through your activity level and your muscle building. Your body burns 70% of your daily calories at rest, meaning you could do zero activity all day and your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, would be the amount of calories you burn through your basic body functions like breathing, your heart beating, maintaining body temperature. And you can actually increase the calories you burn at rest by building muscle, because muscle burns 3 times more calories than fat. So the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolic rate. When people get older and say, I can't lose weight as fast as I used to lose weight, my metabolism has slowed. Your metabolism has slowed because your muscle to fat ratio has changed. You can do something about that.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So muscle burns 3x more than fat.
Correct.
So I guess it...
3 times more calories at rest than fat.
So this is a real question.
Okay.
This is a dumb question.
It's not a dumb question. There are no dumb questions, Tyler.
So I guess just part of your body's normal process. I guess I've never thought about it before like this. Your body has to burn calories to maintain fat?
Your body has to burn calories to maintain body functions. Your
your fat just hangs out.
Your fat does just hang out. You're correct. It does.
Problem. It doesn't do anything. That's the problem.
No, your fat is there for a reason. Your fat, it does a couple different things. Your fat protects your organs. Okay. So it is protective. It is a protective layer. Your fat also helps you maintain body temperature. You need fat to help maintain body temperature. There are also fat-soluble vitamins, A, E, D, and K, to be exact. So fat does have a purpose. All right, so we've done a great job of defining metabolism. Let's circle back to metabolic adaptation. When you're in a calorie deficit and you lower your caloric intake, you lose fat, but you inevitably, as I said a minute ago, you also lose muscle. Because of this, you have now lowered your basal metabolic rate, or the calories you burn at rest, which means that your metabolism has adapted to new lower caloric intake. And the best way to combat this is through muscle building. I never suggest chasing the lower metabolism by lowering your calories even more. You're going to end up cornering yourself into a calorie range that is unsustainable. This is one reason I suggest clients start in a moderate calorie deficit, 300 less than maintenance, not 500 less than maintenance. It gives them a little bit of wiggle room. And it's also why I suggest strength training when in a calorie deficit to maintain and mitigate that muscle loss effect through metabolic adaptation.
All right. So next thing, very controversial, body recomp or recomposition.
Yes. But people like to shorten things. Like people call outfits a fit. Now, I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah. Anyway, so now instead of saying recomposition, we can't do that. We have to be lazy and just say recomp, body recomp.
This is coming from the person that will text me back IDK because I don't know. That's a bridge too far.
I don't know. I think texting is different than, I don't speak that way. Do I speak IDK? I only text that way.
I'm pretty sure you have said that.
Have
to
I?
me.
Maybe.
Pretty sure.
I might have. You might be right.
Guaranteed I'm right.
So body recomposition, it's just the overall process of losing body fat while trying to gain muscle.
Now, I saw this video on TikTok that they said that I could lose fat and gain muscle at the same time and look like that dude who definitely doesn't look like he's been training for a decade and taking copious amounts of steroids. How do I do that? That's possible, right? Teach me your ways.
Right? Right. Nope.
Not really not really possible.
It's not. If somebody's telling you on TikTok or Instagram that you can lose fat and build muscle at the same time, there are people who will argue that yes, you can. Yes, it's possible. You brought up a good point.
It's probably technically true.
Yes.
With ultra newbies.
at first, and then you hit a plateau, those kind of things. Same thing with muscle building. If you're brand new to it, you might have some major gains at the beginning, and then it's going to kind of flatten out.
I feel like that's what those kind of people prey on, is because they're preying on newbies who will see that, they'll actually see that change and they'll buy into it, but it'll plateau or stop or go in the other direction, and they don't have knowledge base or the whatever
right
to continue that goal, and they get frustrated and quit. And then they're like, this is dumb. I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
Let's go get some Funyuns.
When you're in a calorie deficit, you are depriving your body of the energy it needs when you build muscle, you actually are building muscle at rest. It's during the rest time that you're building your muscle, but your body needs energy to do that. So if you're in a calorie deficit, you have a tough time building muscle. If you are in a calorie surplus, you're going to have a much easier time building muscle. If you want body recomp, you will have to go through tiny segments or smaller segments of calorie deficit, calorie surplus, calorie deficit, calorie surplus. Or by surplus, I mean you lower your calories, you raise your calories. You lower your calories, you raise your calories. So that way you can achieve the fat to muscle ratio that you want. Body recomp takes years of work. It is not something that happens overnight or in a month or a few months. It takes a lot of time to really see body recomp results. It takes commitment, and it just like any other type of change. And typically body recomp, if you are measuring yourself, if somebody is working through body recomp and that's their only goal is to change their muscle to fat ratio in their body, they may not see major changes on a scale. You may get on a scale and see no change in the number on the scale. However, if you are measuring yourself in other ways, inches or diameters, then
or just how you feel and how you look.
And how you look,
like,
exactly.
I feel like that's so wildly underrated.
You're going to be able to see the body recomp. Correct.
When the people that you go to work with, they haven't seen in 4 months, makes a comment, that kind of stuff. Or like, man, these jeans, these fit kind of nice now.
Right.
I think that's more important than a number on a scale.
Right.
Because what about a number on a scale is actionable in your life? There's nothing. It's just a number. It's how your pants fit.
Data. It's data to help tell you if you're headed in the right direction.
That's correct.
I do have my clients when the goal is, my name on social media is the Calorie Deficit Queen. My coaching is mostly fat loss coaching. So I have my clients get on the scale and desensitize themselves to believe that the scale defines their worth. It doesn't define your worth. What it does is it gives you data. It gives you data to tell you, are you headed in the direction towards your goal overall? I don't mean day by day. Every single day doesn't matter. If you gain 3 pounds tomorrow, okay, so what? That doesn't define who you are. Let's look at the overall trend. Is the overall trend a downward trend because you're trying to lose fat? Great. Fantastic. You are on track. So I do have my clients weigh themselves typically daily. If somebody is scale sensitive, then because of years of attaching their feelings and emotions to the scale, then we, pun intended, scale that back and don't weigh every day. But
yeah. Well, but I think that's actually important. If that gives them anxiety.
Correct. We don't want to increase the anxiety. However, we also want to desensitize. That's a whole nother podcast, though. Don't you think?
Yeah. And I could go on a diatribe about that, but that's me. But okay, let's go back to recomp for a second.
Okay.
Like, and how long it takes. So like, I have been losing weight for 3-ish years somewhere.
Have you been? I don't think you've been losing weight for 3-ish years. I think you lost most of your weight in 2021. It was 2021 when we lost our weight.
It definitely came.
And that was when you ran your marathon. And 2021 was when I lost, I think 50 of my 70 pounds in 2021. I think the other 20 come off in 2022.
Okay. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make, I still have goal. Like, I still want to lose some more.
Lose fat.
Yes.
But you want to gain muscle.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the hard part of it. Which one do I want to do?
Well,
is because the surplus part's a lot more fun.
Eating in a calorie surplus is fun. It is true. It is a lot of fun. But
I think I will like long term.
Let me also clear something up really quick.
cleared up.
When
Make it like
when we
index.
talk about eating in a calorie surplus because you have a goal of muscle gain, we don't mean going from a calorie deficit to, yay, I'm going to have pizza and donuts and this is going to be great. I'm going to eat in a major... No, That's
That's a
not
good
at
point.
all what we mean. And
Because
I want
then
to
you're
clear
just-
that up. That is not what we mean. When I worked with Braden Barrett, I'll throw his name out there, from Look Like You Lift.
It's a great account to follow.
Fantastic account to follow. When I worked with him, he put me in a calorie surplus to build muscle. And my diet was very, well, I mean, it was beef, rice, spinach, an orange, a bagel. That was a fantastic part of my day, the bagel, because I didn't typically eat bagels. But it was a lot of, I think it was yogurt and berries. A lot of really what I eat now in a calorie deficit. I don't eat, by the way, I do not eat in a calorie deficit every single day. I get that in many of my videos, it says, stay in a calorie deficit and eat like a queen. That is because my target audience is mostly women who have a weight loss goal. So my videos are targeted towards people who need to stay in a calorie deficit, but also want to eat like a queen. I, after losing weight, did a reverse diet, and that happens to be one of our words that we are going to define, because you might hear the word reverse diet.
It sounds hilarious.
Does it?
Well, just, it's so counter...
Is it counterintuitive?
I mean, yeah, in a way, it is counter. It's, I don't know, like, what's a reverse checking account? Like, what does that even mean? Like,
I need a reverse checking account, one where I deposit more than I
exactly.
take out.
Yeah, my bank account is in a deficit, not a surplus right now.
Right. Yeah, my bank account for sure is a
But it's
calorie
the same,
deficit.
but it's the same thing. I mean, the terminology that you'd use in banking or in a federal budget is the exact same terminology, the same thought process is this.
Yes.
You have a budget and you have more than the budget or you have less than the budget.
That's right. So reverse diet. I was in a reverse diet after I lost my 70 pounds. And people ask me all the time, I get this in my comments, my DMs, everything. What do I do after I hit my goal weight? Well, you do a reverse diet. That does not mean, let me tell you what it doesn't mean. It does not mean we're going to add 500 calories back the day after you reach your goal. If you do that, well, I hate to tell you, you're going to gain weight fairly quickly if you do that. I want you to really take a moment and think to yourself, how long did it take me to lose the weight that I lost? If it took you a year to lose 50 pounds, which is totally normal, if it took you a year to lose 50 pounds, it might take you an entire year to get back to maintenance calories. It may not, depending on, again, you trying to do a little body recomp, add some muscle, because we know muscle burns more calories than fat. So the point and the purpose is exactly that. We want you to build muscle so that you can add back calories without gaining weight. You're actually doing more metabolic adaptation. It's just instead of your metabolism slowing, you are slowly raising your metabolism. You're slowly raising your basal metabolic rate. You're slowly burning more calories at rest. Therefore, you can eat more calories. Isn't it dreamy? It's dreamy. It's great. I will tell you, I would have never ever thought I could eat 1,800, 2,000 calories in a day and not gain weight. When I started working with Braden, January of this year, in fact, January 2023, from Look Like You Lift, he put me on a 2,200 calorie diet, and I actually I think I was losing weight at the very beginning. And then he had to move it up to around 2,400 calories. And I think that's kind of closer to where my maintenance was at the time. I think my metabolism has done a few changes since then due to stressors in life. So, I mean, your metabolism does change by, 1 or 200 calories over the year. But you have to, let's backtrack to reverse diet. So reverse diet happens after you reach your weight loss goal, and you don't stay in a calorie deficit forever. You can't stay in a calorie deficit forever. It's a post diet eating strategy that slowly increases your calorie intake over months to prevent weight gain as you return to your maintenance calories. Next word, macros. Let's talk macros.
Let's talk macros.
There's 3 basic macros. Macros stand for macronutrients, and your macronutrients are your proteins, carbs, and fat. Carbs meaning carbohydrates. And the proteins, carbs, and fats make up all of the food that you eat. Proteins and carbs are both 4 calories per gram, and fat is 9 calories per gram. And that's why you might have a tough time staying in a calorie deficit if you're eating a ton of high-fat foods. I'm not telling you not to eat high-fat foods. I'm just telling you if that's all you ate, you would have to have a tough time staying in a calorie deficit.
Now, explain that more, because I think people miss the mark when you talk about deficit and all this stuff. You're not saying anything's off the table.
No, I'm not saying any food is off the table. There is
you're
no
actually
bad
very
food. There
inclusive.
is no,
You're
right.
very inclusive. And the whole point of your message is if you can eat nutrient-dense, lower-calorie foods, you can eat way more of it.
Yes.
Volume, you can pump the volume up and not feel hungry, not feel deprived.
Right. So exactly. In my program, I teach my clients high volume eating strategies. And really, it's not a giant secret. It's eat your fruits and veggies, people. It's what you've always heard. Fruits are not bad. Yes, fruits have sugar in it. Banana is not bad. The number of clients I have had to tell a banana to convince a banana. I don't know why people think bananas are bad. Apples are not bad. Bananas are not bad. There is no such thing as a bad fruit. There's not. I don't even think a donut is bad. But that's all. Again, there's an entire. We'll do a whole nother podcast on foods and why foods are not good or bad. There is no foods have caloric values. They do not have any kind of moral value to them at all. And you have a choice. They have a numerical value that is energy, and energy is a calorie. And you choose your calories. And if I choose that I would like to have a giant bowl of oatmeal with yogurt and berries for, 350 calories in lieu of a single donut for 350 calories. Well, I truly believe that my bowl of oatmeal with my Greek yogurt and berries is going to keep me fuller longer and more satisfied than that short-lived donut. Again, this is topic, I think, for another podcast.
There's like a whole 45-minute.
There really is. Back to macros. I'm not saying fats are bad. I'm not saying carbs are bad. I would definitely say prioritize protein. I'm just telling you that fats have 9 calories per gram of fat in food. If protein and carbs are less than half of that, 4 calories per gram, you're going to end up getting more bang for your buck, basically, when you eat proteins and carbs than you will get from fats. Now, yes, you can argue fats do keep people satiated. That is true. And again, back to the fat-soluble vitamins, all of that. That is not what this
is necessary for the human
correct.
diet.
It is necessary.
Also, there's another macro. It's alcohol.
Alcohol. And you're right. 7 calories per gram.
Everyone very willingly ignores alcohol. They're on a diet, but man, they're drinking vodka.
I mean, and then they just don't count that as calories, right?
Exactly. And I mean, I did the exact same thing.
You did.
I would imagine most people who are trying to lose weight and are consumers of alcohol kind of turn a blind eye to the booze. It's a lot of calories. It adds up. Even if you just drink it whiskey neat or some...
I mean, and I was that woman who would come home from work, a long day in education, and I would be like, all right, I deserve a glass of wine. But my glass of wine would be at least 2 glasses of wine and half the bottle of wine, if not the entire thing, which, I mean, that's a lot of calories. And if I did that even 2 or 3 times a week, there's no way I was going to lose weight doing that, even if I was eating salads at work.
Taking the time, and okay, this will be the last thing I say about the booze. Figure out how much alcohol you consume in a month. Figure out approximately the calories. it'll make you sick to your stomach when you realize like how many excess calories you're consuming that don't do any. I mean, they make you feel good. I get that.
I mean, actual benefit. Do they give you any benefit?
Physical benefit.
None.
There's no benefit. The cherry pick studies about cancer with red wine. I'm sure there's some people will die on that hill. I think it's super overstated. I don't care if people drink wine. It's just don't pretend it's something that it's not.
Don't pretend it's not calories.
Yeah, don't pretend it's not calories. Don't pretend it's, at least for me, it led to poor eating choices, poor sleeping choices, didn't want to exercise the next day, blah, 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 blah.
Correct. I do want to say about macros that it is, I get that it is super popular right now. Everybody wants to track macros. I'm tracking all my macros. I get this from a multitude of women in comments and messages daily. I can tell you that my opinion about tracking all of your macros, that should really be left for athletes, bodybuilders, the typical middle-aged woman who is my target audience. You don't need to track all of your macros in order to be successful at your goal, and your goal is fat loss. If your goal is fat loss, track your calories. If you are in a calorie deficit, you will have fat loss. And track your protein, because if you are prioritizing protein and you are meeting a protein goal of 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of goal weight, then you cannot possibly overeat carbs or fats.
But you've made your life a lot easier
and
trying to track it.
And you've made your life easier because you are now not tracking. You're not over obsessing on where are my calories, where are my fats, where are my carbs, where are my protein, what do you always say? It's 101 versus...
It's level 101. This is like go back to freshman year of college.
Right.
Stick with 101. 101 for the vast majority of things to learn in life. Stick with 101. That gives you the absolute basics. And now, if you get really into it and you really want to dial stuff in because you're into biohacking or you're trying to get visible abs, go for it. Knock yourself out. But for 99% who just want to be healthier and lose a little bit of weight and just be better, don't worry about that. Get your protein, then track your overall calories, call it a day.
Right. Exactly. If those two things are true, if two items are true on your checklist, I am in a calorie deficit today. I have met my protein goal. Great. That's what you need to know.
Yes. And so why is protein the shining star?
Oh, we have to have a podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, that's another podcast.
Yeah.
We'll title that one Protein Power Hour or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll decide that later.
Fair enough. Write that down.
I will. All right, let's do one more. We have time for one more. And I think we're going to have to do a part 2 on this topic because there's so many more words that we need to define.
I feel like this might be a multi-part series because there's a lot. There's so much out there that's BS and misunderstood. Whatever. Go on.
I want to, and some of the words, yes, a lot of you knew what a calorie deficit was, but I wanted to really kind of talk and define these words in this podcast. And I do want to finish with rest day. And the reason I'm finishing with rest day is because everybody has their opinion on what a rest day is. And I think that it gets confusing.
I do.
When you have a definition of rest day?
I have a controversial opinion on rest days.
You do? Oh, I don't think I know your opinion on rest days. I know my opinion on rest days.
They're stupid.
They're stupid. They are not.
Okay,
they are purposeful.
Let me.
Okay, go on. Tell us why they're stupid.
Because here's what people do. I've done it. They go, oh, it's my rest day. So this is the day I'm going to lay on the couch and eat Cheetos. And this is my day. This is my me day. I'm going to just take this for me and do. Life will give you rest days. You're going to get sick. Your kids are going to get sick. Stuff comes up at work. If you somehow go 6 days in a row and you're on number 7 and you're not feeling it, then you don't have to go crazy. Go for a walk. Do a light body weight workout.
I think what I hear you saying is that people should have an active rest day.
Yeah, but that sounds so lame to call it that.
Well, that's what I call it. So I'm going to be lame over here. And I tell my clients to have what we call active rest days. And it's actually, I'm glad you said all of the things you said, because it's true. What he defined as rest day at the beginning of what all that that you said, you're right. People think rest day is laying on the couch doing nothing and binge watching their favorite Netflix show. That is not what a rest day should be, nor should it look anything like that. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever lay on the couch and binge your favorite show. But what I am saying is that...
Do it after your workout.
Well, no, I'm not even saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
Go get a 4-hour high-intensity cardio workout, and then you have the CDQ's permission to go watch Love is Blind Part 4.
No, wrong. That's
Big
not...
Brother?
That's
Is
no,
that it?
no. Okay. What I am saying is that, and you don't I definitely am not one to tell my clients to work out every day. No, do what's reasonable for you. And if reasonable for you when you are a beginner is working out 2 times a week, that's fine. Totally fine. The rest of the, if you are only working out on Mondays and Wednesdays and that's it because you're brand new at weight loss, fine, great, good for you. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that does not mean you're doing nothing. It means all of the other habits that you have are in place. Drinking your water, getting in your daily steps, your diet has to be in check. All of those other things still have to be in check. So rest day does not mean letting go of all of your other habits. Rest day means the workout piece, that piece of the puzzle, fine, don't work out. But make sure all of the other pieces are still there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah. Our next podcast, I think we're going to cover terms a little different. Those terms, we're going to cover clean eating because everybody has their opinion about what clean eating means. And there are so many arguments about what is clean eating. And then there's the word superfoods. What in the world? People always claim this is a superfood. What do they mean? Does it have a cape? Does it fly?
It's marketing.
We'll talk about it. We'll get there. Flexible dieting is another term we're going to talk about. Mindful eating. The word gut health is thrown around so much.
I feel like that's very fashionable right now.
It is very fashionable. Gut health, super fashionable.
Can I tell you about the craziest one I've heard recently about that?
Go for it.
So I saw a video, and this might be 100% legitimate. I've done zero research. That it was a guy talking about the first thing you do in the morning, you shouldn't go brush your teeth and spit out. You need to go rinse your mouth out with hot water and then swallow it. I don't know.
Are you going to try it?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Moon landing.
Hypertrophy. That's another word. Hypertrophy. That gets thrown around a lot.
Hypertrophy, yeah.
DOMS. Fitspo. That's a good one.
What's that? I guess I got to come back for that.
You got to come back to next week for that. Carb cycling is a big deal right now. So what exactly is that when people talk about carb cycling? There's so many more. There's IIFYM. If it fits your macros. Yeah, if it fits your macros. People use that all the time.
And again, these are probably things that they're not fabricated. They're not made up. They're not untrue. But for the average person, it probably doesn't make a difference. And it just complicates and confuses what you're trying to do. When you're getting started, it's already kind of tenuous as it is. So why make it harder?
Right. I hope we've cleared some things up. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Transform Yourself. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the love. Until next time, keep shining, keep smiling, and keep transforming yourself.
Adios.